Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Just getting my microphone. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be going through the loftiest of topics, but one that I was truly awestruck by in shul, in synagogue, this past Shabbat. When we were reading the Torah, it was shocking to me how relevant what's going on today in the land of Israel pertains to what we read in the Torah portion just last week. So I thought I would address the question today of why does the land of Israel belong to the Jewish people? What is the connection between Jews and Israel? Are we just claiming a land? Are we just kicking people who've been there forever off of this land? Does everybody have equal footing and equal rights to this land? What's going on? Obviously, I'm not a rabbi. I'm definitely not a political expert. I don't want this video to be political, to be controversial. I just want to sort of give like a baseline beginner introduction to why I feel personally, based on the Torah, just coming from the Torah. Again, if you're new to my channel, I had no religious education growing up, except for like Reform Judaism, but no like indoctrination that Israel belonged to the Jewish people. This is all my own thoughts and beliefs based on my own exploration directly from the Torah and having asked the right questions to people who know much more than me. And so this is not beliefs I was fed growing up. This is just what makes sense to me, and I thought I would share it here. So if you're not familiar with the Torah or the Old Testament, if you also are familiar with the New Testament, the Torah is the Old Testament. It begins so much. It's incredible. I can't recap the entire Torah, obviously, but in a nutshell, it's the story of God forming a relationship and introducing himself, revealing himself to the Jewish people. This is like a huge reduction of what the Torah is. Like, you really have to go explore the Torah for yourself. But just if you've literally never even explored it or like looked into it, to summarize like in one sentence. So much goes on. It covers like thousands and thousands of years and so many generations of people. But it starts off basically with one man, Abraham, and he's the founder of all Abrahamic religions. So Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and this is where it all begins. This is where we get the 10 Commandments from, that we even use today in our Western society. We also hold by the 10 Commandments. You know, we don't steal, we don't kill, we don't condone adultery for the most part. Okay, values are getting a little skewed and ambiguous today, but for the most part, everybody agrees in our modern world that killing is bad, robbery is bad, adultery is bad, jealousy is bad, right? Thou shalt not covet. You shouldn't intentionally seek and be jealous openly of everyone else. And so it is, whether you are Jewish or not, whether you're religious or not, it's undeniable that the Torah, the Old Testament, is the most powerful, the most important book that was ever written, right? It literally formed the value for, it's the oldest book that I believe it's the oldest book we have, I'm pretty sure. And no matter your religious beliefs, it's undeniable that its influence has seeped into our modern world and its culture in ways that even if you are an atheist, God forbid, and you don't even believe in any higher power at all, you are still influenced by the values that have shaped our modern world that all emanated originally from the Torah, right? So it starts off in the beginning with Abraham, who forms a relationship with God, and essentially God tells him that his ancestors will inherit the land of Canaan, which is the land of Israel, and will multiply. It then goes down to his It tells the story of so many stories are jam-packed into this, and we derive so many lessons of morality and of God's will for us as humans, and what's our purpose on earth, what's our mission on earth. But essentially, it goes on to Abraham's children, then their children, Isaac, Jacob, so on and so forth, until we get until we're introduced basically to Moshe in Egypt. This is like, you can't possibly recap the Torah, but I'm just trying to like summarize. If you've literally never read the book, like extreme Spark Notes version. So the Jewish people, Yosef, they basically go down to Egypt and they're enslaved in Egypt and they're at their lowest point. Basically, God splits the sea for them and begins the journey of elevating them spiritually to the point that he can reveal the Torah to them, the Ten Commandments to them on Mount Sinai. Then the Jewish people journey. They have to go on a physical journey through the desert, but also a spiritual journey. And they climb spiritual levels. They become a nation through this. They become all of this hardship that they experience and the stories that go on form their nationhood, form their emunah, their faith, their trust, their connection to God, and help them instill the values within themselves as a society so that they can emanate those values to be a light unto the nations, which is the purpose, we believe, of the Jewish people, to be a light unto the nations, to bring godliness into the world and to sanctify God's name in the world, so to speak. And that's what we've done since the beginning of time. So why am I saying this? Because it starts off, and I'm just reading from the text right here. This is absolutely couldn't be further from my own words. This is my own observations from the text. In Parshas Lech Lecha, which is almost the very beginning of the Torah, very close to the beginning, in the book of Bereshis, we are told, here I am reading from it, God said to Avram, "Go away for your land, your birthplace, and your father's house, to the land which I will show you. I will make you into a great nation." This is before any Jew existed. This is before the Jewish people existed. This is before there was a Judaism to be Jewish. This is just what's being told to Abraham. "I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will have the power of blessing other people. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those that curse you. All the families of the earth will bless you." And then it goes on to say, Abraham took his wife Sarai, and his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, all the possessions which they had acquired, and the people that they had converted in Haran, and they departed, heading for the land of Canaan. That's the land of Israel. They arrived at the land of Canaan. That's the next sentence directly after that. That is in the beginning of the Torah. I believe the first time that we are introduced to the land of Canaan as being of spiritual significance and of importance to anyone. Like, what is the land of Canaan? This is the land of Israel. So that's just, okay, so there is something about this land of Canaan, right? There's something going on with this land. Then, what struck me so starkly last week's Torah portion, I was really speechless, was that, just finding it. God, so this is now at the end of the Torah, towards the end, almost at the last chapter of the second to last book. So we've come a long way. The Jewish people have been slaves. The Jewish people have been wandering in the desert. The Jewish people have died off and died off and died off. And this is generations after the people who were originally given the Torah at Mount Sinai. This is literally so many generations after Abraham. And we're told And the Jewish people are about to go into the land of Canaan that Abraham was told at the beginning of the Torah. And it says, God spoke to Moshe in the plains of Moab by the Jordan near Jericho, saying, speak to the children of Israel. So now the Jewish people are a nation because they've been through so much together. They were slaves in Egypt. God took them out, and they became a nation. When you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, you drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, destroy all their temples, destroy their molten idols, and demolish their high places. You should rid the land, then you should settle in it, for I have given you the land to occupy it. So that's what God is telling Moshe. He's telling Moshe now the same thing that he told Abraham, but he's telling them to occupy the land. The Jewish people didn't even want the land. They wanted the land, but there was a lot of skepticism going on. A couple parshas ago, we read about the sin of the spies, in which the Jewish people were so scared that they actually sent people to scope out the land to see if it was even worthy, if they could even do it. And they all became terrified when they heard about the realities of who was living in the land. They looked stronger than them. Those people who were already there looked stronger. And they got terrified, meaning they were not like, we need the land of Canaan. We need the land of Israel. No, no, no. God is like, listen, Abraham, I'm giving you this land. Go to it. And then now God is like, Moshe, I'm giving you this land. You need to empty it out of everything that's not godliness, like idols, everything. And you're going to occupy it. The Jewish people will occupy it. He's telling us this. We don't want the land. Like, we're just being commanded. We're literally just doing what it says in the book. And then it says you should allocate the possession of the land to your families by a lottery. Give a larger inheritance to a large family and a smaller inheritance to a small family. So that's basically now the Jewish people have divided already into tribes. So Jewish people are one people, and then within that, they're based on lineage divided into tribes. And he's saying basically that's how the land will be divided. And then this is what struck me. Oh my goodness. Listen to this. But if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then those whom you leave over will be like spikes in your eyes and thorns in your sides. They will harass you in the land in which you settle. Then I will do to you what I had intended to do to them. Is that not chilling? Like goosebumps, full body chills. God is literally saying, from what I know, right? I just read that to you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. The people that are in the land that are not Jewish will antagonize us, will hurt us. They will be like spikes in our eyes and thorns in our sides. They will harass us in the land in which we settle. Has that not been proven true time and time again? So hopelessly, consistently, without fail, all throughout history? Yes, it has, right? So I had the chills when I read that, because exactly what's going on right now, how we see that, yeah, there are people who live, there are tons of Arab people who live in the land of Israel, and they are happy there, and they are peaceful there. You can live in Israel and be happy there. It's beyond possible. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's saying they will be like spikes in our eyes and thorns in our side. And no matter how well, how nice the Jewish people are treating them, such has been the case time and time again. I'm sorry to get so political. I know a lot of people are going to be sounding off in the comments, but I can't deny what I just read. I'm reading this now. Like, sorry. You're seeing this you're reading this along with me right now. So then This is chilling because anybody who says, what are you talking about? The land of Canaan? That's not Israel. That could be anywhere. That is so ambiguous. We don't know what that land really is. This is the very next pasuk. God spoke to Moshe, saying, command the children of Israel and say to them, when you arrive in the land of Canaan, the following is the land which will fall to you as an inheritance, the land of Canaan according to its borders. Your southern border will be the desert of Tzin, along Edom. The southern border will stretch from the edge of the Salt Sea in the east. Okay, so God himself is being very specific, right? About where exactly these borders on the land are, right? The border then turns south of Ma'ale Akrabim, passing towards Sin, and its edge will be south of Kadesh Barnea. Then it will extend to Chatzar Adar and continue towards Asmon. The border then turns from Asmon to the stream of Egypt, which forms the border with Egypt, and its end will be at the Mediterranean Sea. Your western border, this is literally God himself describing the lands that he wants us to occupy. We did not ask for it. He's telling us, these are the borders of the land which you need to occupy. The following will be your northern border. Oh wait, no, I missed one. Your western border will be through the great Mediterranean Sea, including the islands within the border. This will be your western border. The following will be your northern border. From the Great Sea, turn yourselves towards Hor Hahar. From Hor Hahar turn towards the route to Hamas. Chama, Hamas. Guys, I can't make this up. I can't make this up. Pick up yourself a Torah, and I can't make this up. The point of the border will be towards Sedad, and the border will then extend to Tzifron, and its end will be Chatzar Anian. This will be your northern border. He's God himself defining the borders of the land. You should then turn yourselves towards the eastern border. From Chatzar Anan to Shepham, the border then goes down from Shepham towards Rivlah to the east of Ayin. The border then goes down and hits the eastern seashore of Lake Kinneret. The border then continues down along the Jordan, and its end is the Salt Sea. This will be your land, defined by its surrounding border. Moshe commanded the children of Israel, saying, this is the land that God commanded to give to 9.5 tribes, which you are to apportion as an inheritance. Hold on. One moment, please. Just turning the page. Through a lottery. Okay, and then he goes into dividing up the land to the different tribes. You guys, even if you're like me and you don't keep up with the news, and you don't want to keep up with the news because it's just so devastating, but you do believe that the Bible, the Torah, this book is not just a regular book. It does have some significance. Okay, I fully subscribe to it completely, and I live my life according to it as best I can. But even if you don't, you can still acknowledge that this book is profoundly, incomprehensibly influential in our modern world and has significance. So I just read you what we were told in last week's Parsha for you to kind of just digest, right? And I just want to end this video by saying that the Torah actually includes a map of the land. If there's any ambiguity about what specific land the Jewish people need to occupy, the Torah doesn't hesitate. It literally gives us a map. And I'm going to show you the map right now if I can find it, because I want people to understand that we're not just claiming this random land and fighting people who are on it just because we're bored. This is in Scripture. This is written in Scripture. If you don't adhere to Scripture, that's okay, but it has formed the basis for most of your moral compass, for most of your moral reality, And even if you are, God forbid, atheist, you are subsequently living your life according to the principles written in this book. And this is just, you're not killing, you're not hopefully stealing, right? You live with some level of modesty, which this book introduced the concept of modesty. This book introduced the concept of kindness, the concept of, acts of kindness, visiting sick people, like all these things that we just take for granted in this book. Where did these values come from? They were shaped by scripture, by either, if you're Christian, you call it the Bible. Okay, fine. It's the Torah, meaning you have to acknowledge the significance of it as a book. And also we can't dismiss what else is in there. I just want people to take their own self, a look at the full picture, because it's not fair to say, you know what, this part I buy, right? I'm not going to kill. I'm not going to steal. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be a nice person. I believe in God. Many of the people watching even believe in God. Many of us are even Jewish. But there's more to the story here that I just read. And so I don't see how people can pick and choose which parts of the Torah to adhere to follow, to subscribe to, when it's so clearly laid out and it's not ambiguous, in my opinion. I hope this video planted some seeds for you to think about on your own. I don't mean this to be brainwashing in any way, God forbid. I'm just putting out information because I think a lot of people don't have access to it, and it seems important with what's going on in the world right now. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with anyone that you think could enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel to stick around, leave a comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.